choices for consumption by not only looking at awareness raising for individuals, but by also changing their own procurement, so buying more fair and sustainable products, and by also helping the local economy to respond to this question, so that you increase the demand for fair and sustainable products on the individual side, on the procurement side, but at the same time also help local businesses to respond to the increased demand, so that you have an increased demand and an increased supply. And in that way it could also end up being a very important added value to the local economic tissue of when local businesses are prepared to screen their supply chains and deliver on the increasing demand of the citizens for fair products. And the City of Ghent started a network of small startup businesses and small and medium-sized businesses that were willing to screen their supply chains of clothing on ethical principles, which is very complicated, and for a small business it's close to impossible to do. So the city started to assist them by bringing experts, by helping them to find the information, find also sourcing of products, which is a problem for small entrepreneurs, so that it could become a relevant part of the local economic reality in Ghent. At the same time, we were also looking at the procurement, where we learned that we cannot just put in more fair criteria into a tender to procure workwear, because we would end up without a supplier. So while we were doing that, we were also talking to the suppliers of workwear, which are generally also small and medium-sized businesses. It's not the multinationals selling workwear, so that they come prepared to the moment when the tender was actually published, and it would not be a surprise for them. So our lesson is really that you cannot do it only from the demand side, you need to help the supply side as well. I think citizens will always have a very important role, mostly at local level, because local governments are very close to their citizens, so it's very easy to address a mayor, deputy mayor, or even people working within the municipality. So citizens have two roles, I think. First, they need to consume sustainable products. They need to act what they preach. So if a lot of people come to events on sustainable fashion, then afterwards a lot of people need to procure or buy sustainable fashion themselves, because this is a paradox of sustainable consumption. The basic point is consume less. But we want businesses to provide fair products. These businesses need to sell their products. So it's a bit of a paradox that needs to be resolved. So consumers need to act. And I think citizens are not only consumers, citizens are first and foremost part of a local community and of a city. They need to talk to their city government and say, we want you to also act through procurement, and we want you to assist the pioneers in local businesses, so that they can come up with supply of these products. So it needs to go in both directions, I think.